Hello, everybody. So we're just going to take a moment. So let's see who's going to join us. I'm checking the full screen. Yes.
Madhura. Hi, Madhura. Hey. Hi, Madhura.
Hi, Lakshya. So
Hi,
Lakshya is
Lakshya.
joining here on Instagram. So I'm very excited actually to do this live with these two gorgeous women who are sitting here, Kavya and Kavya. So which Kavya is first, you would know whose name I said. So I want to take this moment, just a moment to acknowledge the second day of 2020. We are here, and this is the first live I'm doing on Shaktiship this year, and for of this entire journey. You know, not done a live, so it's a big thing. So many have asked me, and I just kept saying 2020, 2020. So so this call or this conversation here is just to give you an idea about what is Shaktiship, and so maybe I'll give an introduction, and then what was the journey like for both of them. So first, before I even start, so I'm Rekha Kurup, and many of you know me as also as She Stands Tall project and the work that gets birthed through that. And so I'm going to invite both of them to introduce themselves. They do phenomenal work in the world, and they are artists, creative agents, change makers. So I will have them introduce themselves. So so you maybe say your full name as well. So
before that, I want to quickly also acknowledge the honor of being like we are opening the Shaktiship 2020
container.
Container of sorts, and I feel very honored to be able to talk about it. And also, I guess for me, I feel I'm here to talk about it because I've been wanting to. There's so much I have gained from the Shaktiship journey in the last 9 months that you want to share. When you find that gem, you want to share and you want more people to know about it. So I guess that's why it's ending up that we are here to open it because it's there, and I honor that. And I'm Kavya Vishwanathan, and I run a belly dance school in Bangalore. It's called Marthya Belly Dance or Marthya Dance Community. On Instagram, it's Marthya Belly Dance and Wellness. So as the name suggests, through years of experience and working with women, the philosophy of my community is to be able to promote wellness, self-care through dance in whichever way possible, but through movement. And right now I said my dance school just as an introduction, but it's a community. So the space is like our space, and that's how I met Kavya, and we work together with that philosophy in the company. So she's like being a support for me, and we're still finding a way to work together. So I must mention that I got introduced to Rekha through Kavya, and the Shaktiship journey has been not only personally a personal gain, but we've gotten things because we've done it together. We've gotten things that we can use it in the community, and our friendship has matured through the process in such a way that we feel this beautiful connection of working with the community, where I'm able to take joy and see my progress and her progress. And we've discussed that before, and that's why I'm able to talk for her, where she is also able to see the joy and her progress in my progress. And that's what we are looking for to spread through this community.
Yeah.
So, hi everyone, I'm Kavya Bharadwaj, and I have a a job where I work with the health and wellness industry, and also I like dancing movement has been my interest, and as far as what I am looking for, I mean what I feel right now is I'm finding my voice to express myself with whatever that I want to do.
Yeah.
So since even I am figuring like things out on what I can do and how I can do it, and just finding a way to work the way I like.
Yeah.
So for me, Shaktiship has, played a huge role in finding my, my the relationship with myself.
Yeah.
So it is through, I mean, when I was doing that work, when I was just, working with whatever, that I was working with, it got me more deeper into myself so that I can see what is it that most of all, it's for me at the moment, it's more like I need to satisfy my need first. So that is something that I, found that I came in consensus with myself, that, you know what, I need to satisfy my need first, then I can, do anything else. So in this journey of wanting to find my voice or find my way of working, it is a very self work that happened, that is, opened up a lot of things. It's not just it. I just know that I don't know what am I going to do. Maybe I'll do this, I'll do that, but it just makes me look at possibilities, and it's a lot more wider, deeper as an expansion. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I am right now.
Thank you, Kavya and Kavya. Yeah. So I actually feel very moved by your words and what you're sharing. And for those who are listening, I'm seeing Ramana. Hi, Ramana. Ramana is joining from California. Deepa from Bangalore. Sanjay, Vinod, Karen Portal. She's joining from Israel, and of course, Reshma is there. And very excited that you are here. And I see friends on Instagram as well. So I just want to take a moment to thank you, Reshma, for and a blessed year 2020 to you as well.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year.
So I just wanted to share for those who may not have an idea of what Shaktiship is. And so Shaktiship has been, this year was the 6th year that I did Shaktiship. So Shaktiship is a journey, is a journey of remembering and reclaiming all of me, all of who we are as a woman in this body. So it's the gender also has a very important role here. So it's not me just as the spirit and consciousness, but me as woman in this body in an embodied way. What does it mean to arrive and to live from here, from this body, not just here, but in this integration of being in this body. And the work and the pedagogy of this work is informed by the Women's Spirituality Masters of Arts program that I did at Institute of Transpersonal Psychology in California. So I really want to remember my teachers, Dr. Diane Jeanette and Dr. Judy Cran, and this whole elders and teachers and, spiritual feminists who were my teachers, who were the crones from whom I received a lot of gifts. And when that program kind of closed in 2014, it was a natural movement for me to really look at how can I bring an aspect of that program in a way that women can journey through it and experience themselves and look at aspects of themselves which never find expression in the world, which never find voice. It is forbidden, it is hushed, silenced, numbed, so many things that we experience on an everyday basis as women, but we cannot really express it. And talking about things that we are uncomfortable about, going to places that we have hidden and tucked away deep inside. So Shaktiship becomes a journey of really that remembering and standing in all of me, holding in me all of those who have gone before me, the wombs of women, my mothers, my grandmothers, my great grandmothers, my aunts, holding that in my womb, the pain, the joy, the celebration, the sadness, all of it. Yeah. So that is, and it's not a journey of ease. That's what I would say. It's a journey of deep unease that gets opened up. It's a journey of deep discomfort, meeting your discomfort, facing your discomfort, moving through your discomfort. And it's a journey for the brave. I have to say that it's not a journey that everybody maybe will make it. I don't know. I really don't know who makes it. That's why it is very key that when I open a Shaktiship journey, everyone who's joining the journey is doing it at her own will, is volunteering for this journey in spite of whatever she might have heard from anybody, because this walk only she can make. Though she has a sisterhood, there is me who holds space, but she has to make the journey by herself. And that is why a deep will, a deep longing within your own self has to pull you to come for this. And that is what I encourage for this journey. And in my own program, I have found my way back to my own self, my body as my home. And I carry my home wherever I go, like a snail which has its home, behind its back. And we forget that. And this journey is of coming back to that home. Yeah. And there are a lot of layers of work that happens on this journey. And so that is what I wanted to take a moment today to really talk to both of them. And maybe do you guys have your journals with you?
Yes.
Do you want to bring your journals? Yeah. So by then I'll tell them. So one of the things that I did in this year is I created a workbook. So this is a 300-page workbook which moves through the entire journey. Yeah. And so the journey, the 21 weeks, I say 21 weeks, it's actually 22 weeks of core work, which is mapped on the major arcana of the tarot deck, which moves from the Fool all the way to the World, which is an evolution of the soul, through lifetimes. So it is from Fool, or complete unknowingness, unconsciousness, to awakening and becoming self-realized in the world. So that's the journey of the tarot, and that's what this whole book, this journey is mapped on. And it moves through a 9-month process. There are pauses in between, but it's a 9-month process. It's exactly because I feel in my own life, what I have discovered is that being a woman in this body, nothing is instant gratification. That doesn't work for us, because that's not our process. Yeah, we create in a 9-month cycle. We have to, hold something for 9 months, see it grow, go through the pangs and pains of birthing, and still it's not over. Then you have to nourish it, care for it, and see that it is independent and ready to move out. So this whole time it happens at my own cost. It always happens at the cost of the mother, is how the child is born and the child moves. There's the mother disappears and she's present fully for the child. That's the creative process of a woman. It takes that much time for us to create anything. So this process of Shaktiship is a process of rebirthing our own self. And it's not like we are rebirthed and we are finished, as I'm sure they would have already beginning to discover that it's a lifelong process. So you have also learned a process, a method of your own movement that you can keep replicating in your life, and know that, oh, this is not the way I move. When things happen, you begin to recognize that yes, there is more to this. It's not over. There is more, and this will move. And there is a cyclic order to the way everything moves in life, and in my own life, in my blood cycle, in my life cycle. Yeah, so that entire journey of your own investigation and discovery is guided through this book. Yeah. And there is also a lot of reading that is available for them, almost 3,000 pages of reading from books and researchers, and all by women. 99% of it is women's work. There are some which are not women's work. So this is this journey of I think coming in agreement with who we are, and the thing is, the body. So this is what I want to begin by asking both of you is the phenomenology, because that's what I keep seeing every time from the first time I started this journey, is that the minute the journey opens, the week opens, suddenly everything changes in life. Yeah, suddenly the body stands out. You cannot avoid. Yeah, like there is no avoiding. Everything suddenly is everywhere. There is no more escape from things, and things start connecting, and there's pain. Everything like kind of begins to rise to the surface. Did you guys have that experience when you came on Shaktiship? Any of you can add in whatever way that you experienced it, what you thought it would be, and you entered, and what happened.
Since you spoke about the body, my experience was this, that I'm a dancer, so there was this body awareness within me that's there. So I am aware of my body. Then it took me to places deeper. So if I'm aware of my body, I did not realize how aware I was of my womb, my vagina, the feeling of connecting with my breasts, my, like, those intimate parts. It took me to a different place altogether in terms of being able to connect with those intimate parts and honor the sacredness in it, and realize that even though being a mover and how aware I was about my body, like how unaware, how neglected my breasts and how neglected my womb was, like, and I found that connection. So in the beginning itself, it stood out for me. If you look at we made a drawing here about how we see our body.
There's an activity in the beginning, the outline of the body.
When I did that, I realized, like, I've written it in big words. I realized that this journey wants to take me to a different level when it comes to my breasts, nudity, vagina, sexuality. Like, it stood out for me then that, and it did. It really connected me to my womb and breasts in a way that's not talked about as often, I feel. I have small boobs, and I'm so happy with my small boobs, and then it struck me, why? And I don't honor it. That's why I don't have. Also, that is another way of looking at it. Because carrying a lot feels like so much attention. It's not there now, but it's a sacred thing that's not there. That's where I felt my mother also. Mother's connection was in that. When I found my connection with my breasts, I found my mother's love.
Very powerful. So this, you can see how the layering is so deep, and it is very, very true what you're saying. The discovery of one's own body. So and interestingly, all the body that you named is what makes you in the biology of a woman. So it's so specific. So there is a reclaiming of this body, of being in this body of a woman, than just a body. And what was it for you, Kavya?
I look at it this way as my journey, that for me, one connection I found with my body is that I just look at it as a reflection of what I am. So, like, that is me. So, while doing the work, there is so much of things that were happening, probably that would have happened if I would have not been on the journey as well. But because I got a chance to look at it differently, I had a change in my body where I lost weight. I lost a lot of weight during this journey. But I also look at it as shedding, because there's so much that I feel I had carried over. And when I'm looking at it, when I'm working on myself, I realize that, okay, fine, I wasn't kind to it no matter what. Even if I felt that, yeah, I like this about myself, I like that about myself, there's somewhere that kindness was missing. So the minute I told myself that, I want to be kind to my body, it was more about finding that kindness and how I can treat it, the way with kindness. So it was more of, it was more like, for me, it was seeing on how my mental state or anything that is happening with me emotionally, psychologically, anything, how it has an effect on my body. And I just switched, like, instead of going inside, I'm just looking at it, okay, what is happening in my body that, that switch happened. First it's body, then I'm thinking about what's happening inside. Like, so that is the connection that I found with my body, like when I was on this journey, which is also because psychologically also I feel that I've carried over so much, and when we work again on it, it's just rewired in a different way. So yeah, that is my experience.
That's very powerful, because you're talking about psychosomatic, like how everything is, even what is in the mind, even what is emotionally, everything, or whatever is in the body is a reflection of the mind, the emotions, the psyche. And body is such a reflection of that, and we just don't pay attention. We have a headache, and instead of pausing, why is there a headache? We have made it so normal to have a headache. And to pop a pill. And it's just amazing when there's a discomfort in the body, or when my digestion is not working, or anything like that, or there's a pain in my knee or my ankle. We don't even pause to see what's happening, what's the relationship, what just happened, who did I meet, what just opened up for me in the last cycle or last month, what's going on. That question is not there. We immediately take medicine or a pill, or we just ignore it and we just move on, or we'll meditate, or we'll do some breathing, we find our center and we move on. So we are really missed an opportunity to see something which has come from here in layers of our energetic body. It has entered and final displays on the body. So this interconnection, and we work, so this is again something from my program. The 6 aspects that we work with, the physical, the emotional, the psychological, the relational, and creative and spiritual. So there are this you might have heard that me say that so many times again and again. So the personal. So you both have kind of spoken a lot about the personal, what is happening in the personal space. And that is one huge aspect. But then there is also the relational aspect, right? You interacting with your world outside. How did that shift, or how did the journey help you relate relationally, socially? And this is to your origin family, to your ancestry, and also to the others. Did you feel that there was a shift there? Do you want to go for it?
So when it comes to relational, I started with the live by saying that one thing that I feel is I need to fulfill my need. So when it comes to relational, when I started working, that during this work, one thing that I see that changed while I'm even talking to someone is that there's a different way I look at it. Like I'm just looking, and there's this aspect of compassion that is there, but there's compassion there, but and also it's attachment and detachment. I don't know how to explain that, but
Yeah.
it's like I am attached but also detached in a way. So that space, for, like I said, for me it was important for me to protect, like not be hurt. That is my main, that I was dealing with. Whatever, as a person, I do not want to be hurt. So in order to not be hurt, I was either being there too much, too less, or I don't know, like in my own protection. So for me, I feel that okay, fine, if I find my ways of my, keeping myself healthy, I can always, know I can't, I can always be there for the other person, otherwise I can't. So that is something that has shifted for me in terms of, the relationship with someone. And also it's about, I started to respect people for their age. Like even as a small kid, even if it's a 3-year-old to 10-year-old to 8-year-old to 40-year-old, man or a woman, I started respecting them for their age. So somewhere that shifted, even for people who are dealing with me as a person, it has made a huge difference, that one thought of respecting people for their age. So it has changed a lot. Like as a relationship, it got a lot more deeper, be it with friends or anyone.
I can vouch for that. I feel it. I feel that one of the things, if I can say, improved our relationship is respecting ourselves for our age and experience, and respecting each other for our age and experience, and then suddenly our friendship blossomed in a totally different way.
So that way it started. I started to observe how it's playing out in its own way when I'm talking to people and when I'm building a relationship with anyone. And because also it is the journey, this journey is with women who are come from so many different lives.
It's a blessing that way.
That for me is so magnanimous in a way, as a feeling that it's women together coming from different lifestyles, coming from different experiences, countries. And all you, in the end of the journey, I'm just like, oh yeah, this is something that it's so it's in layers, and there's no urgency in knowing anything or anything. It's just about being there. Like that is something that I understood about, for my own protection, that I just need to be there, and it's enough. That's just enough for me to be there if I need to be there. So that is something that I found some sort of a lightness in that thought. So
And what you're sharing is so powerful, because you said something at the very beginning about finding your voice. And it's only, you can only find your voice this way, when and what you're describing, it's so difficult to describe, and it is almost, it can be seen as it is holding space, it is this ability to hold space for whatever is happening, to be present and yet be aware of being present, and knowing what to take and what not to take, when to give and what to receive, or what, like what to allow. What to allow, and this boundary also with the other, and it's so powerful what you're saying of meeting my own needs. And as women, I feel we have forgotten what it means to meet our own needs. And for whatever reason it may be, we have really forgotten to meet our needs, and it almost has, meeting my own need has almost got connected to being selfish. Sadly, it's that word, the negation, negative, selfish has become a negative word, but I feel it is being in yourself, and it's not the S with the small, but the S with the capital S. And that's the awareness that you can hold it all and still be very honest with your needs. And it's like in the plane, they say the mother needs to put the mask first, without before she could put it for the child. So yeah, and that allows you to connect with the other, because you're not compromising your needs. Yeah. And it's a balance, right? It's like sometimes you go, sometimes you pull through back, and then you find, right? So it's a very powerful aspect. Yeah. How was it for you? I'm sure there might be resonance when you realize. Yeah.
For me, I would say that so personal stage gave me the confidence to be my true nature, and my true nature is a curious one, and it asks a lot of questions. So I guess I went into relational with a lot of questions, like I willed to want to understand value exchange, because that's what keeps a relationship going. And
Right.
yeah, so I would say, you mentioned it earlier that this journey is also about going to, in my own words, I would say, going to your sad place, your deep place of sadness and grief that you are trying to avoid, right? And so, which means for relationships and to understand that value exchange and what hurt me, what could have gone wrong, I have to be able to go to that stage. So the sisterhood and the introduction to personal stage gave me the power to explore relational stage in my way, relationship of people around me, then relationships that have hurt me in the past, and what might have I taken from that I'm projecting in newer relationships. What is value exchange? What, like, there is, like, major understanding was I will openly receive what my parents are giving me, and there is no need for me to think of giving anything back to them. And suddenly, just that realization and shift in my head improved my relationship with my mom and dad. It just improved. I cannot say it improved yesterday, today. I'm not able to say that, but I know over time it's some plug got unplugged, and without having words to describe it or the need to do that, I feel the value exchange. And I want to mention this, that when I was doing my body map, and there was a certain part where I remembered as an infant the happiness that I felt when I saw my father. And maybe because of externalizing it through the body map, now I remember it. I remember it. So now when I'm interacting with my father, it comes from that place. Yeah. So my father also honors everything. My father is honoring all my failures too. That's what I. That's what
he's seeing all of you.
Yeah, he's seeing all of me.
Yeah, very, very powerful. It's there's so many layers of this work, and even now when I hear from some of the sisterhood who completed it years ago, and they say they are still discovering. So it's so you have begun a process of your own self, which is a lifelong process of this. Like there's this tearing, there is this vulnerability and intimacy and the wetness of life, the moisture
the love
of
that I'm feeling as the tear is coming down. I feel that love and blessing of my father,
and to be able to feel that, and all that does not allow us to feel that, and to what does it feel to shed off that burden and to really allow us to feel, and all the walls that we have built, maybe because our own needs were not being met. So when we start seeing how do I meet my need so I can connect with my authenticity, I don't have to compromise either or. It is an and, and you mentioned about stages. So those who are watching, I can say that we have these stages. So the whole journey, I have designed it in a way that it is based on the organic inquiry, which is this whole journey of the cyclic journey of a seed. when you have to plant the seed, you prepare the ground, you add manures, you take out weeds, you take out stones, you take out everything. So that's the first stage. We go through this intense stage of preparing ourselves physically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, relationally, and creatively. And that's the most toughest stage. The first 7 weeks are the toughest because everything rises to the surface. Everything that we don't want to see, suddenly everything is in front of you, and that is the most toughest stage to move through. And then we move into the personal stage, which is about now that the whole land of my own self has been tilled. What is the seed I plant here that can grow and bear fruits? Yeah. And so that's the personal stage that you're talking about. So in that you get to really know all aspects of you as archetypes of goddesses, as myths that existed, your own inner navigation system and the menstrual cycle and the interconnection. So you get to know the personal. So even your seed you pick in a very informed way. So you know, to know what I want, first I need to know all that is me, all that is in me. And you don't really know all because it's infinite, but you feel like, oh, there is more to me than I have really realized. There's so much more to who I am. And from here, I pick one seed and see what. You don't know till the end. Sometimes it takes years to really see what the seed you have picked. Yeah. And then we move into the chthonic phase, which is once the seed goes into the earth, you don't see anything. Yeah, you can't keep digging and seeing has the seed sprouted because that will destroy the seed. So you just water and you wait and you wait. And in the darkness of the earth, the seed sprouts. And first the roots come. The roots go down, they strengthen them, and then the shoot comes, and then, so that's the stage of the chthonic. So there's another intense stage. But if you have done the preparing well, fully present, then the chthonic becomes, you learn the way to move through chthonic. And it's again it's again a 7-week chthonic that we go through. And there are enough pauses in between. And from this chthonic, once the root has emerged, the branches grow. Then we move into relation. You know, when the shoot has come out and things are moving and the branches grow, they're running out to meet each other, interact with each other. So that's the relation stage, which is a smaller stage. And then the final stage is the transformative, which is about harvesting the fruits, really looking at what has happened to me. What have I done? And what are the fruits that are coming up? And that I feel opens into the closure and forward. Because the seeds that you become present to, your own awareness, which can further create more trees and more growth and more journeys and more words, right? So that's the journey that we move through in the Shaktiship. And I also want to mention the sisterhood, because so the sisterhood is that was the gift that I very much received in my program, that women come together, we mirror each other. Yeah. And so, many times we say this very unconsciously, oh, I don't like women. I don't like the company of women. I go, God, they just push your buttons and they are like, you feel like that. Because why? Because all that we have carefully hidden and packed somewhere inside, she takes it on and mirrors it and puts it back, and we don't like what we see because we don't like that in our own self. We don't want to see it in our own self.
Absolutely. Right? Before starting Shaktiship, I was one of those women, even though I ran a belly dance community, but it wasn't personal, no? I was running a women's community from outside. This gave me that
ability to be in
there. Yeah. Allow myself to feel what is being mirrored back to me.
And that's a very powerful thing that happens in this container.
I'm humbled by it. I'm sorry. I'm humbled by the fact that from that person and I'm this person, and I have no shame of admitting.
Yeah, to say that.
I'm like, thank God I received that process. Now I have this beautiful thing. And that gives me more courage in the future to explore things that I don't want. Why ask myself, why don't I want that? What is it mirroring? It gives me that courage.
And holding space of all of women. Yes, yes.
So I was also talking about I wanted to find my way of work. So one thing I felt is that when she was talking, I mean, when we were talking about sisterhood and all of that, it also mentally opened up that infinite possibilities by listening to other stories.
Yes.
Like anything, any possibility, it just gives me hope that it'll happen. Like there's that anything, it's just that flow. It is that getting comfortable with that flow is, yeah, it's something that I've found in in a sisterhood
Right.
as a woman, and yeah, that is something that has made a huge difference.
And it's not that in the journey of the sisterhood we have all been lovey-dovey and happy. No, we have seen each other in ways that are sometimes quite overwhelming. It's very overwhelming to hold space for the rage, for the difference of who we each are, and to hold space and show up in our pain and to see that it's never easy. Actually, to be women and to be with each other is to really love who we are, who I am, because all of me, then I'm able to see all of you. And and it's not an easy process because women mirror each other because of our rhythms and our wombs and our menstrual cycles, and that women, when we, and like if you see now, we are all kind of, we start bleeding together around each other's dates. All these kind of synchrony starts happening in our bodies without us even wanting. Yeah. So we also will pull something out of somebody that we never even thought of. It unconsciously, these movements happen. So sisterhood, really women finding their way in allowing women around them to inform them more. I think that is the process. It's not just about loving women, and how movies, they show women are having parties and that's not sisterhood. Sisterhood is actually a very powerful experience of even seeing what you don't like about your own self in the other.
And there is, like she said, like there's so much power together. One of the understandings I have, and it came to me right now, we explored a lot about patriarchy and the effects of that in us. And I feel it was one of the methods of patriarchy to come to the fore, to break the power of women coming together. Yeah, that's one of the biggest learning I had. That's what we carry. That's why we carry it in us, because somehow we've learned that separating these women is making us weaker.
Correct. Yeah, and that's another word that Kavya used, which I want to again bring: patriarchy. And the patriarchal, what is that lens? What is the patriarchal lens? So we don't look at patriarchy as it being man or male. Actually, we look a lot at the male wound, a man's wound, and the emperor, and how it's not just in the man, it's also in us, how we embody it, how we take it on, and how the birth of patriarchy, because birthing, I tell you, is our realm. So anything in this world, whether it's a concept, whether it's anything concrete, I know we birth it. It's not even I believe. I know we birth it. The responsibility does, because we birth. We have the gift of birth. So we birth everything in some way or the other. And so to see it and to hold it, and to even see men in our lives, our fathers, our brothers, our lovers, our husbands, our ex-husbands, to see the wound of the masculine is also a huge aspect.
I want to, exactly. It's a very important.
And yes, and that week, wouldn't you agree? That week of the emperor, it actually comes in the 4th week. In the preparing, it is the most difficult week to move. It is phenomenologically what opens up is just it's a huge, and there all of women's pain and everything that has kind of starts surfacing. It's mostly the tough for everyone. So even when people are joining, I'm saying this, you might find that that's where you might be. You might not move ahead because there's so much grieving. There is so much shedding just in that awareness that you have to hold for that. That's it. Yeah. So that is also a possibility. Not that in this journey whoever comes, there's something important for me to say, that you just keep moving and you complete. There is no completion. If you just do 1 week fully and you're there and that is all you can do, that could be a completion too. So it's a very different movement. It's not here. We learn to move with the body and not to drag the body. Yeah? Listen to the body and to move with the body.
Yeah, so I was going to mention that, and you did it too. So that was a difficult stage. You said that stage where we were facing how we were mirroring patriarchy and acknowledging the fact that birthing comes from us, so it is born out of us, and that's also the way. If you want to heal, that is the process. I somehow the trust and the power, if you can stick with your intuition, that's what happened to me. For me, I was excited to go to that stage, and I devoured that stage. The maximum reading that I did was on that stage. Like this, she said 3,000 pages of reading. I don't think I read much. This emperor stage and patriarchy stage, I was ready to somehow, being with the intuition, sisterhood, faith in what I was doing, all of that. This I would like to tell people, that faith, intuition, being in your body, no grief can destroy you. That it will let you move through all of this. So that really helped me move through this difficult stage.
Yeah. Thank you so much for saying that.
And for me, in emperorly, patriarchy, everything, first thing that came to my face, that mirrored to me, is I saw myself in the way of ideas or beliefs or anything. I was projecting so much of patriarchy myself. Like I'm just saying, it's not about man, woman. It's like so much about ideas.
Exactly.
So that was a very, and powerful. We've been saying powerful. My whole relationship with power as a word meaning has changed.
That's one of the core engagements on this journey is differentiating power and force.
Yes, that was such a big opening, getting through that, moving through that, for you to be able to move forward with so many other things to be explored.
Right now, with everything that's happening around, like the change of the meaning of power is something that is anchoring me. Like for me, that is the anchor.
Right.
That's what is driving me. So.
And I want to acknowledge whenever power versus force comes, I want to acknowledge the person from whom I received. It didn't come. My program had no clue about this work of David Hawkins. None of my teachers even knew about this work. I came to know of this work when I interviewed one of my sister's professors from Frank Lloyd Wright School of Architecture. She was 93 or 94 years old. We had gone all this way in Arizona to see her. I'm kind of forgetting her name right this moment. But she's a self-realized soul. And my sister interviewed her about education because she's very passionate about it. And I interviewed her about women's journey. And then I spoke to her about power. And I spoke to her about empowerment. What do you think about women empowerment? And she laughed. And, she said, then she asked me, do you know power versus force? And I said, no. She said, you should check that word out. And she said that power can never be demonstrated. It can only be witnessed, like you witness a mountain. And it's an embodied sense of being. So when we are reacting and when we are demonstrating and showing, which has become the expression of power, it's really not power, it's force. And how patriarchy, the word power is disguised, like force is disguised as power. And so for me, she brought that work into Shaktiship and into my life.
And it's beautifully, I want to also
Yes.
mention this, that how the workbook has been also set up, since we are talking about that.
Yes.
So how we are exploring power versus force and the different types of power. So the workbook has stuff like this where it has guidelines for to get you into the mode. It has audio. We have
Yes,
audio
audio
clips
tracks,
to reading and audio tracks where you get into that space, and then you start exploring in yourself the power over, power with, power, the concepts that. So yeah, how workbook has been very handy. It's like a sacred.
It's a good question. I have to ask you about how was the workbook, because it's the first year we have a workbook. So tell me about the workbook.
My friend, and like I could start again this year, and I could go through this journey again by myself by just looking at my workbook. And when I don't have words, I'm allowed to just do
stick things and do whatever
artwork. So I don't have words to express. So what? I express it through scribbling. No, I'm not thinking about prettifying it, making it look whatever. Sometimes I write, and then sometimes I come back later and add stuff. And sometimes I read and don't connect to it anymore. So what? But it's that is also like, oh, I moved through this. Oh, what did I mean from that? It's nice to look back at all of it. And sometimes you leave the page empty also, and that is all right. I did not engage with this because I don't remember why. But it's okay.
It's okay.
Maybe some other time when I open it, I'll write it. So what? So it's like a friend for life.
It's a friend for life. I think that was the whole idea of having this book. Like, she is your friend. So she is called She. And that's how I designed this book, that she is talking to you and she is your friend. She, like, I am she, the spirit of this journal. So did you enjoy the book?
So much. So for me, when I was on this journey, I was telling myself that I'm going to work on this book. For me, if it's moving forward, it's like, for me, it's a physical thing. Like, I'm moving forward in the journey by, whatever it is. And I was so fascinated that there's no rules. There's no rule in the book. There are no rules at all. And there's so much creative freedom that now by 2020, I am looking for, having my own rituals for myself where I can engage with how I engaged with Shaktiship in 2019 in form of art. Like, in just colors, just draw, just write something. Like, I am seeing what I can do every day, because that has helped me so much. The colors, the art, the kind of, what this book calls out for you. I can say that I want this for myself on, like, maybe for life, like this sort of creative practice where every day I just go back probably in the night and just color something. It doesn't even matter what. So this workbook has gotten me into that groove.
Wonderful, very nice. And that was the intention, of to reclaim creativity, your own expression in a way that is yours forever to keep. And another thing that I'm looking at the time also, and we cannot not talk about the body map process. So one of the core engagements of this journey is the experiential method of outlining your life-size body onto a surface. And then through the readings, through the inner work that you're doing, like this relationship with the mother, this relationship with the great goddess, there's so many layers and layers, ancestry, the crone in your life, ancestor altars, rituals. So there's a lot of things you're learning. As you're doing that, you're using the body map. The body map becomes her story. That's how I see it. Like, we have history, we keep hearing history, but your own story, the story of the women in your life, the men in your life, your story. Who are you in this body? The body map becomes your anchor to express that as you're discovering your own story. And the body map also starts informing you back. So it's a very powerful process. I want to hear from you. We don't have, I will, with their permission, I will share their body
Yes,
map.
yeah,
You know,
sure.
it's absolutely powerful, both of your
Yeah.
body maps. And so I want to ask you about this process of body map and how did it support you in this journey? Yeah, what happened? Because it's something so difficult. Even if you hear them, you know, when you if you choose to be on this journey, you will still try to go from here, and you will realize that it won't work. Yeah. So yeah, any of you, tell me, how was your process of body map?
I mean, the meaning of revere is the word,
Yeah.
yourself. Like, my body map has become a goddess. She commands that respect, the honor, which means I have, if the my respect for myself is embodied now. I don't have even a small something pulling me back. Say when I say that I honor myself. I am beautiful, and there's nothing that holds me back when I say that. I own all my experiences. I wear all my grief on my sleeve. I am not ashamed of my grief, and I know when I stitched the body map, I know how the grief built me. It taught me. Now
You
I
stitched
know.
it, so you used
Yeah.
cloth and fabric.
Yeah, I
to
stitched
stitch.
it. So I stitched the entire outline of my body, and she was there during that process. And there were so many moments where I would cry over my. And then I stuck wherever there were teardrops. I stuck sticky, shiny things there because I honor my tears. I honor my grief, and I kid you not, those patterns are on that side of my body where I feel physical pain. Like that is the kind of
And you didn't know that when you did that.
no. After that, when I was looking at my body bag, oh my god, this left side of mine from inside it needs opening up. It's shriveled in for whatever because of that I have all sorts of pain, and I'm a dancer, so I know physically where I'm stuck. And then I realized, oh my god, these tears are exactly where my body feels wants to open up. So that realization itself starts opening up things in your body. I could go on, and this another thing. So there are so many things about the body map. My body map took 40-day process, where the first day I made the most of it, and for the rest of the 40 days I kept filling in, and things kept coming to me. And when the body map was done, and I want to acknowledge this, and I want to say it out loud, because this means I am owning, I accept my power. I'm a powerful woman, and I accept it. And I accept that it might be fearful for some, but I'm not going to let that fear make me shine any less. And I realize that that's what I've been doing. So when people see my body map, except people from the sisterhood who are like, wow. When others see, especially my close family, friends, sister, they're like, what is this? Are you mad? What have you made? You've made a demon, you've made a demigod, and you've made voodoo, whatever stuff. And then I realized that in fact, I wanted to make a mask, and I already made a mask that I will cover my face sometimes, and then I will open. Then I realized that's what I've been doing. I found the words, and I will use it. My power has been told to me that I'm dominant, and I've been accepting it and putting myself down, thinking that I should not be dominant, but dominant wasn't the word. Power was the right word. And if women in my family tried to cover my brilliance, I understand it was out of fear of the consequences of showing your brilliance. And the reason I wanted to put a mask on was because I wanted to protect myself. But like, the body map has opened me up in such a way that I own my brilliance. I am brilliant, and why not?
Blessed be.
Yeah.
Blessed be. Yeah, that it's like, you just have to hold that for, a breath, because we have done that to ourselves. And I want to acknowledge you for even as you shared about your mothers and who have done that to us. They've done it out of protecting us.
Yeah,
That
they've
is
done
important.
it. I see that.
Yeah, and that's also part of our work. We to really own the survival and to bow down to the survival of the women who've gone before us, because of whom we have survived, and they have their coping strategies we, without even knowing, we adopted to survive. And this journey is also about looking at that, I don't need this anymore. I know how to handle myself, deal with it, so I am letting go of this strategy, like that. So yeah, how was it for you to work with your body now, Kavya?
For me, it was the whole process of outlining that size of me, putting colors into it, and obviously, it's not about how good the artwork is or something. It's just about expressing it. So when I saw just the outline and I'm just looking at it, and I said, okay, how do I do this? Like, where do I start from? And when I was looking at it, then it just took, like, I realized how it just took me one color and it one by one. It was just involuntary, that it wasn't like a conscious effort that, okay, now I'll do this, now I'll do that. It just went with the flow. And that was, in a way, like, I'm giving respect to myself, because that is an opportunity that otherwise I wouldn't have ever done. Like, make a big picture of myself, color it, honor it. I wouldn't have done that anytime. So it is more about me finding respect for myself, and also, seeing it from, it's like you're seeing yourself from outside. So it's a different feeling.
Yeah. And almost all the women on the journey have they trace their body map, engaged with it, and it's not really about being an artist. It is about being in your process and learning ways to express your process. I think that's the most important thing. Learning ways to express, and there is nothing wrong in the way I express. This is the way I express, and I claim it. Yeah, I like to throw things and tear things and break things, and I do it, and it falls down, and it creates something that is magnanimous. And I don't even pause to look at it. So how do I claim that process? So there are no mistakes. There's nothing wrong. So it's also this process of claiming the fearless artist in you. And I really see we all have the fearless artist. Like, my wall is right now.
We have, if you realize, there's one more person.
We have a little girl here, and a boy here. So these are things, like people look at it and they tell me, oh, you are such an artist. I'm not an artist. I am not an artist in that sense of artist. I don't even know. I see, I just draw. If it is a mistake, it's a mistake. I don't care, because I don't care whether you like it or not. I like it. That's it. I love it. And I do it that way. And this has happened to me in my own journey, as someone who had such a strong inner critique, looking at everybody, so they are so wow, look at them. And then forgetting my own movement and finding how I will draw my line, and I think that is also part of the Shaktiship, is really reclaiming that process of remembering your own creative process.
Yeah,
and to be okay with it.
Like, I'd like to add, like, for me, in lines of, you said that when you looked at others, you were like, wow, and that would put more pressure on you, right? And then some people like me are this type A personality who are perfectionists, and that makes you even not explore, because you're afraid of making a mistake. I'm the one who moves with the eraser because if there is a mistake, I want to erase it. I do it first with pencil and all that. But here, through this process, and by the time you get to the body map, I found myself in a space where I could go on, and when nothing was interfering, it was beautiful. There was no two questions about it for me. And you just have to do it, and it happened. You let all of that go, and you start expressing external, like we have words right now to express what we feel. You don't want to go back and take away the words. Maybe you want to explore a different way of saying it, but you do that in the same frame. Similarly, in art, that gives you that.
Yeah, and many times during the process, you may find that you have no words. You know, so the words come as right?
Forms,
So it's
and there's one more thing that I wanted to add. There's this one to like this thing, two words that stood out for me is I have become more process oriented. Like because
not result oriented like that.
Not result, process. Like what is the process?
Yes.
What is the process? That was not me before. I didn't give two thoughts about process first. It's more like, okay, so this is what I should do, this is what I should do. But now it is even being present to the process, like being present there is what I feel. So that's a relationship that I found with process.
Being present there,
Being
then
present,
you won't judge it as mistake or is it good or not.
And showing up. So I'm looking at the time. So I know we can never ever really say, and this is such an experiential process that till you're on it, you will still make an idea on your head, and when you come here, you'll feel, oh, that's not what it is. So to some, what would you say to a woman? Why Shaktiship immersion? If you could see yourself, you're 10 months ago sitting there, what would you tell her now? Why be on this journey? What is the gift that a woman can receive on this journey? Which is not, like, why this journey? Like, there's so many journeys, right? I mean, why? What did you find here unique or different for you on this journey?
The way I'm going to say it, I'm using words that I've learned during the process, and I've immersed myself in the process so much that the words have also become a part of me.
So
now when I look back at 9 months, what I was before, I'm again using the language of this. I've realized that women's grief during your periods, if I put one aspect, I use one aspect to explain because it connects all of us. That is one thing we know for sure that we all face. We want to be, during that time is when our mind shuts down. We want to be held, we want to be supported, we want to be seen. So this is a process, connecting back to what she said earlier. It's a process that will help you see yourself, be there for yourself, and then from there you can, reach out to the world. So in simple words, it's answer to what you're feeling when you're PMSing, when all of us PMS and the world puts us down during that grieving process or makes fun of us, and it pinches you when they make fun of us. You know that there is something not right there. During your PMS, during your menstruation, I'm so sure we will connect at that we know something is not right somewhere, but we don't know what and how, where to go, how to reach. So I would suggest this process as like a self-help thing. So what? It is a self-help thing. This is something that will help you find you, help you see yourself so that you can show yourself.
That's very powerful. You can see yourself, so you can show yourself. You want to add?
It's more, this journey is more about building that relationship with yourself. 1, 2 is that I am unique, like I am one. That is something that satisfied. I am unique, I am one. I come with whatever different permutations, combinations, and so that sort of acceptance and that sort of is just a home, like home. Maybe find home.
Find home. And coming back to yourself, and I'm unique. That is so powerful. What you're saying, I am. And to give yourself permission to be that.
Be that.
Be who you are
Give
here
yourself
to be.
permission to be that. we realize that how we are stopping ourselves. So we give ourselves permission to be that and use these words, not to be afraid of using all these
Yes.
words. Like
Yeah.
giving myself permission, which means I had blocked myself before and I accepted. Now I want to give myself permission and I forgive myself. I don't judge myself for whatever I have been in the past. But like the good girl, bad girl, and ugly girl was a powerful learning which I accept the good part of me, the bad part of me, and the ugly part of me wholly.
Yeah. And it's of seeing yourself, and also you learn a new language like you've been talking about. You
And
learn these
makes
words
such a
in these
world of a
languages.
difference.
And also the power of words that we use to speak, to communicate, and how in them, without us even knowing, we dim our light.
Yes.
So really seeing that, what am I really saying, and what is it that I really want to say, and how can I say it? So I think there's so many layers, and I'm sure they'll agree. Like if we have every sister here, everybody's experience will be so unique and so different on this path. And I mean, there's so many things that we didn't. I'm only realizing now, like making
Such
ritual
spoken
ancestry. I know there's so much. There's a whole ancestral work that we have done on this journey. So there's many layers to this work, and
that ancestral journey reminds me how I could accept and honor that there is so much that I've gotten from my parents. I can't understand everything. I am what they are. That's my experience in this physical
And
life
more.
right now, and more. And from there, then when I accept that, from there I'm able to go more and beyond. I can't run away from that. That's the biggest learning, and I accept it and move on from that.
So I think we will bring to a close. Almost also we are also getting hungry.
Yes.
Not expressing it, but I know I can feel it in my stomach. So thank you so much for a lot of people actually came. So thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
all.
joining. Hi Greg, Ariel, Aarti, Neha, Deepti, Rashmi, Kakuli, Mishti, Sari, hi Sari, hi Josephina, Vrinda, Deepti. I mean, there's a lot of people who came and went. Wow.
If anyone wants to talk about the process to me, I'm available.
Yes, thank you so
Please
much.
reach out.
Yes.
Please reach out.
You can
We'll
definitely.
be happy to.
Yes, you
share.
can reach them out. You can reach them, reach out to them, and the process. If you feel this is a journey and it's a sensation as you listen to them. There will be a sensation in your body. There's a longing in your heart. Something you feel. I don't know what it is, but I want this, or something that they said that you connect. And that's the feeling to go for this. You feel like this is for you, because your brain will not. Will not give you the right. This is not the place to enter this journey, but from your body, a felt sense, a feeling. If you feel this is something that you want to explore, one of the first steps on this journey is to set up a call with me. So we do a one-on-one call so that I can really share with you what it entails and what is required of you to walk on this journey. So you know all the polarities of this journey, and you make an informed choice to walk and to allow yourself that experience. And if you have any questions, I take it up. And then once that call is done, there's a consent form that I send to you, which has this different aspects of this journey. And so you are expected to read it in its full, and so that you know what you're getting into. And so that then you sign and you send it, and that's how you begin this journey. And we have till before last year. So theirs was the first batch, which also did an in-person walk, in-person journey, which didn't exist. It was always an online journey. So here we have both the combinations. This Kavya Bharadwaj, she did the in-person journey where we met for 7 weekend gatherings in a group of seven women, 8 including me. and right, and we had an online container which had like 11 women, which Kavya did. So Kavya Vishwanathan did an online journey, and Kavya Bharadwaj did an in-person journey. So they both, though they are speaking like they sound like they're on the same journey, but they were not.
They were not.
They were on two separate journeys, but they were in sisterhood. So they, since they are so closely connected to their work and their intention and their passion, they were also found moments to do this work together. So that deepened, So even this year, I'm continuing that format. There's an online, but this year the difference is everybody has the online journey. Okay, so what I feel from this journey that has for you also to know what is that every week, so there are 22 online meetings, and every week is opened consciously with everybody, and you know what is coming. So we will initiate a process to enter that week, maybe do an activity together online. So there are 22 online gatherings, very nicely paced. It's on a Sunday evening, and we have, instead of 7, we have 9 in-person meetings. So it's on, and it's instead of a Friday, Saturday, this time it's on a Saturday, Sunday.
So our facilitators' commitment has also increased. So
Yes.
all the more reason to
I'm more committed, and I also have my women, my facilitators. So last year I did the facilitator training where I have 7 facilitators around the world. Many of them have offered to host self-reflection circles. There you can go and do your check-in, so that I don't have to spend the whole time doing check-in. So we can do something.
More women to come.
So there is more opportunity for you to release and to be held. So the more opportunity to express, there's more opportunity to be together, even in the online container, and to really be present in the opening and to know what is coming up. So I think that was not there. Even now, till now, it was not there. So this year I felt it is very important to have that. And additionally, those who would like to be part of the in-person journey, there's an additional fee. Who can come 9 meetings in 2 days. And the third phenomenal offering this year is that because I've become a family constellation facilitator, in the in-person journey, we will be doing 7 constellation sessions. So every time, I'm hoping that if we have a group of 10 or 12 women, everyone will definitely get to open their constellation at least once, if not twice.
You can ask me about that also. I volunteered for a couple of sessions. If you want to know more about what it is she's talking about, it is a powerful process.
It's a very powerful process. So that it complements this journey in a very powerful way.
Doing ancestral work and stuff.
So you can look at it. So there are different layers of offering. So that's the journey, and I will look forward to seeing you. And there is a limit on how many can be join this year. And I've been thinking about it in years to come. How we can have more facilitators and more countries to host. It's happening. It's thinking, because I need to get limited. The limitation has to be my holding, and then it opens up, right? So till now I have been able to do that. So let's see, and more we will create more. And so that's the Shaktiship journey. And if you're called to join, reach out to us. There are Kavya, both the Kavyas have offered themselves, and there are other sisters who you can reach out to, and you can reach out to me. So I look forward to hearing from you, and thank you so much, both of you, for being here. And
so happy to share.
It's just there's a lot of love, I mean, and it's not. It's beyond our physical meetings. It's there's something. There's a connection that is for life. That's it. This life, many lives, who knows? At least this life, I know.
Yeah.
I can say for sure, as long as I'm in this body and here, I am connected to all these women, and in a way that I also cannot comprehend what it is. So you're looking at, is there something you want to share?
Because the first drawing that I made, where are you now? Before I started the process, I made womb connection. Instinctively I made this as my womb, and that I'm not separate from the wombs of other women that I meet in my life. I didn't finish the rendering of it, but the womb connection meant to me that we are connected through our wombs. That realization of women connected. I feel that connection.
And just maybe one sentence from both of you, because there are many men here on this call, right? So just this thing, how does this journey improve or not improve is not the word, support you in showing up with men or in relationship with men in your life, so that men also know that they are not separate from this, they are not sidelined or bypassed in this journey, but maybe we show up in a better way with you or for you. So did you see that in your...
I found I found so much deeper love for masculine energy altogether, that whatever comes with it, it's not, we spoke about sisterhood honoring, but it's actually honoring men. And when I started doing that with men and around me who I speak to regularly, even there's this relationship that opened up where even vulnerability is easier to express right now. So, and even for my men, people who I know, men, boys, everyone, that vulnerability showing, it's such a beautiful experience that and that's what has made a difference for me when it comes to being with.
So men will receive, men in your life will receive from you being on this journey. I just want to say that, so men don't feel like, oh, everybody's always working with women.
No, not
at all. Like the example I first gave was of my father and not of my mother. Like how me realizing the love I have for my father changed the relationship between me and my father. And similarly, a few days back, I sent a message to one of the friends and I realized this as a pattern that 2019, I told him that, wow, like you're one of the most special people that I've met, because I could be myself with you, or maybe I should say I was brave. I could be brave of being myself with you. So when I found that courage to be myself, my true self with men, they gave me the space. They gave me the space to flourish. So I realized that how I had the power in my hand to improve relationships with others, so with my father, and I was telling her a while back that I reached out to my ex-boyfriends and I honored them. I realized how I had hurt, because I could not see myself, and in that process I had hurt him. I called him home, I served him food, I honored him like it's, traditionally it's looked down upon now when you honor a man, when you serve him food. I suddenly understood that meaning of that. I sat him down, I served him food that I cooked, and I said I apologize that I was so full of myself I could not see what you were doing for me. I apologize for that. And it was a release. And then he laughed and he said, you and your secret projects, and he gave me a kiss here. Like, with example. Yeah.
Right. So very powerful. It's very powerful movements. Yeah. And very unique. It will show up in your life in just the way that you need. Because you are claiming.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes, that's the way that you need.
Yeah. So with that, I think what a beautiful call. I just want to honor both of you. It just already feels, like I entered a vortex and I'm now stepping out. We went into this world of, yeah. So it's a, yeah. So thank you so much for joining, and for all those who listen.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And I am going to, it's been such a beautiful conversation with both of you. I think I'm even going to make it, each has a part.
Yes.
No?
Yeah.
So
So
see,
that,
breaking
yeah.
it and making
Yeah,
it
if you can.
small,
Yeah.
you know, with questions, so
Yeah.
that you know you can watch that. And I think
You
it's
can watch
very
it in
beautiful.
parts.
Yeah, it's going to be very beautiful. So thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
And yeah, so I think this one, yeah, it has a time limit on Instagram. So thank you so much for joining us, and take good care and have a beautiful, blessed, blissful 2020.
Yes.
And may it bring us all our learnings, may it align us with our purpose, and may it give us the strength to see, yeah, and acknowledge and receive and give. So thank you.
Thank you.